This government has turned propaganda and disinformation into a cottage industry, whose biggest success is the recasting of cowardice as courage. They have firmly established this government's motto of brutality over morality. The sacred cow that was the judiciary is no longer sacred. It stopped being sacred the day a sitting Chief Justice of this country was accused of sexual harassment, presided over his own trial, cleared himself, and then proceeded to accept a nomination to the upper house within 3 months of retirement, replete with Z+ security cover. This government has turned propaganda and disinformation into a cottage industry, whose biggest success is the recasting of cowardice as courage. I will lay out various instances where this government has demonstrated courage. The government claims it has shown courage to bring in a law that questions on arbitrary parameters who is or who isn't an Indian. The Citizenship Amendment Act was passed in 2019 in this House on the pretext of granting citizenship to persecuted Hindus and other minorities in neighboring countries. At the same time, it threw into an abyss of insecurity millions of Indians who had been living in this land for generations. But the rules by which this act will be implemented were not yet prepared by December 2020, according to the Ministry of Home Affairs. The courage to make India, the world's greatest democracy, into a virtual police state whereby a single dubious complaint, both an eminent member of this House as well as one of India's most veteran journalists, is charged with sedition. The courage to try and take over every state government by hook or by crook, whether you have won the popular mandate or not. Does the ruling party wish that its legacy be that it governed the largest democracy in the world, or that it imposed a one-party rule in India? Ask yourselves. The courage to announce a national lockdown at only 4 hours' notice, causing untold misery, countless deaths, the sight of thousands walking for hundreds of miles with no food or money. This government spent less than 2% on social transfers, in contrast to OECD countries who spent 20%, and 6%, which was spent by middle-income countries. The courage, no, the brazen audacity to announce an economic rebound. India was the single worst performer among developing countries in the year 2020. Even if we believe this government's economic survey, the economy was lower by 7.7% in 2020 and will rise by 11% in 2021. So in effect, by 2022, that is over a 2-year time span, the economy will be flat. The courage to use the official channels of the Ministry of External Affairs to respond to social media posts by an 18-year-old climate activist and an American pop star, where not even one single ministry has been deputed by this government to try and look out for the food, water and basic sanitation needs of the farmers and their families who have been camping at the border for almost 90 days. And finally, the courage to bring in 3 farm laws when the opposition, farmers across the country, as well as the government's oldest ally, warned it was unacceptable. These laws were arrived at without consensus, tabled without scrutiny, and rammed down this nation's throat with the brute force of the Treasury benches. They have firmly established this government's motto of brutality over morality. And everyone else in this country has been portrayed as a coward or a terrorist, from the farmers to the students to the old ladies of Shaheen Bagh. You say you have courage. You claim you have done so many things that no other government before you has done. Yes, that is true. In true fascist fashion, you have made every act of pettiness, of vengeance, of hate, of bigotry a part of your narrative of courage. The sacred cow that was the judiciary is no longer sacred. It stopped being sacred the day a sitting Chief Justice of this country was accused of sexual harassment, presided over his own trial, cleared himself, and then proceeded to accept a nomination to the upper house within 3 months of retirement, replete with Z+ security cover. The judiciary stopped being sacred when it chose to squander the greatest opportunity that any bench of the highest court of this land has ever seen, to reinforce the founding principles of our democratic republic and to uphold the rights enshrined in Part 3 of our constitution. Instead, it let most of...
1 second, please. Premchandraji. She cannot discuss
352
the Chief Justice, the conduct of the Chief Justice of India.
Let the minister
here, without giving the prior notice and approval of your chair.
352(5). A member while speaking shall not reflect upon the conduct of a person in high authority unless the discussion is based on a substantive motion drawn in proper items. चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को हम लोग यहां डिस्कस कर रहे हैं सर।
Let me pass the observation of the chair. We will go through the proceedings. If anything, it is affecting the higher authority and anything which is unparliamentary, definitely it will be looked into and it will be corrected. Please try to avoid such observations.
A very large section of the Indian media has plummeted to new depths, both in terms of lack of factual reporting as well as the total absence of journalistic ethics. And yet, even when the bar is so low, the WhatsApp chat leaks detailing correspondence between a large government-leaning media channel and the head of the TV ratings agency expose the utter filth and the crony capitalism that, ironically, this government claimed to be saving us from. You keep taunting the Congress about the emergency, but India today is in a state of undeclared emergency.